And of course, starting on this nice small map, so let's take a look at the High Elves. I'm going to have a High Elf army. How is he doing that? What in the shit? How did he do this? Does he know some secret master strat on the ranger deployment? Like, how did he do that? That's an... Okay. Maybe I'm dwelling on that too much, but I've never seen that formation. I don't know how he did it. He must be using the rock formation to do some kind of bugged deployment to get them all in a single row. I have no idea. It's when you get too close to a rock. So weird. Okay, so we have spearmen up front with the rangers. Gonna have two rangers. One of them won't be looking... Oh, no, just kidding. This one's looking kind of crazy, too. We're gonna have another spearman over here, bringing it to a total of 4. In the back line, we're going to have archers, Lothar and Seaguard. Looks like we're going to have 2 of each. And then we're going to have Sisters of Avalorn in the center. Got the Fireborn Dragon Princes and a regular old unit of Valyrian Reavers on the right flank. Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower in the center. And then for the leader, we have Teclis. Teclis will be riding his horse into battle. He's going to have the Sword of Teclis, Bound Fiery Convocation, Potion of Shakroy, Regrowth, Enfeebling Foe, Net of Mintok, and Greater Arcane Conduit. Now, for the Vampire Coast, we are going to be seeing a front line of zombie deckhand mob, back line of deckhand mob with pole arms, looks like 3 of them. And then we're going to have 2 bombs, we're going to have 2 deck gunners, make it 3 bombs, and then we're going to have some handguns, 2 of them by the looks of it. 2 Rotting Prometheans in the back line. We're going to have 2 mortars for those high elf archers, and then we're going to have deck droppers up in the air, 1 on either flank. Now for the leader of this undead pirate force, we are going to be seeing Count Noctilus himself. Count Noctilus will be on foot, and he's going to be bringing Captain Ross Moondial, Wraith Storm, Arcane Conduit, Invocation of Nehek, as well as the Drowned Dead. So going up for the higher level view of this battle, you can see the mortars are firing away, getting some decent damage done onto the high elf forces. Their tight formations do not like to get shot by explosive rounds. Net of a Mintok went down on top of the deck droppers, and now the archers are trying to fire in and kill them. Interesting decision. I mean, you definitely want to get rid of them, but I don't know if it's worth a full net of a Mintok over here. Oh no, the handguns got out of position, and now the rangers are on top of them. That was a devastating misclick. As long as the vampires can get them back into the backline and keep them alive, and they should be okay. But over here, Rotting Prometheans and Enfeebling Foe on top of them, and the Fireborn have dived in. They're down to half health. In comes some High Elf Spearmen to support that engagement, and it looks like those Rotting Prometheans are going to go down in a hurry. Back here, we're going to see a Valyrian Reaver Cav with their superior speed, threading the needle, getting on top of the mortars, trying to shut those down as quickly as possible. And now it looks like they're going for the second mortar model, for the second mortar unit, I mean. Up here, we're going to see Bound Fiery Convocation going down across the front line of the deckhand mob, but we'll see what kind of damage it can do. That one knocking it out completely, that one knocking it down quite a lot. Not doing the most friendly fire, thankfully, so yeah, overall that Bound Fiery Convocation did get some value eliminating these pole arms. Rangers continuing to keep the pressure and knock out these handguns. The High Elf Archers are now getting into range to where they are dangerous, and with the artillery close to being offline for the Vampire Coast, it is going to make it a hard comeback, I think, for the Coast at this point. Their balance of power is slipping, and the High Elves still have Dragon Princes, Teclis is alive, and plenty of archers to fire in, and even the infantry advantage at this point. Oh, the bombs throwing in a devastating volley on top of the Lothar and Seaguard. I imagine these guys will rout on the next volley. Oh my goodness gracious. Just heard a net of a Mintok. Yep, there it is on top of these deck droppers, and these deck droppers look like they're going to go down for the count, not going to survive that net of a Mintok and focus fire. Teclis, looks like Noctilus is coming out to chase him, and Teclis is like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm on a horse. Bye. Noctilus is going to have to turn around in frustration as he is chased will be in vain. Invocation of the Heck on top of the rotting Prometheans. They have 2 models. Teclis is coming in to help kill them. They're crumbling right now, so it's really just a matter of can this Invocation and the Heck counter their crumbling, and I'm not sure it will. They still have 3 models, and I think the Invocation of the Heck may be a bit of a loss. Bombers continuing to go crazy, but now we do have High Elf Archers in range shooting them down. But it just looks like the Vampire Coast is starting to run out of tools here, guys. Nope, there goes a Raid Storm going after Teclis. It's going to stagger him. Not stagger him enough for Inoculus to catch him, but still going to do some mean damage. Just saw another net of a Mintok, this time on top of the rotting Prometheans. I like this net, holding them in place, and it looks like the High Elf Archers are going to begin opening fire, trying to knock them out as quickly as possible. Over here, we have the Dragon Princes coming in for a big charge on top of the summoned Gunnery Mob. And there they go, going to knock some corpses back. And yeah, I think if the Fireborn continue their charge into the rotting Prometheans, they should be able to defeat them on the charge. One mortar continuing to fire away. Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is almost out of ammunition, showing that it's gotten some good value since it was uninterrupted for this battle. Spearmen are going to start running away. And, I mean, Noctis is still very healthy. I guess my biggest concern, and the reason I don't really see this Vampire Coast army going to be pulling it out from here, is just they don't have any speed to catch the Dragon Princes unless we see the High Elves make a big mistake. And the Dragon Princes can kill rotting Prometheans as long as they get the charge. So it looks like they're going for it now. Invocation the Heck was popped recently, though. And yeah, they're going to change their mind actually and pull back now as the High Elf Spearmen come in to intercept those crabby boys. Sisters of Avalorn firing away with those armor-piercing, magic, fire damage arrows. And it does look like the Rotting Prometheans are going to be going down for the count pretty soon here. Saw a regrowth on top of the Fireborn. Raid Storm is going down on top of them, killing some models. But at this point, I mean, really, what does the coast have left? Not much. I think it's going to turn into a battle kind of like we've seen with plenty of other Vampire Coast battles where the Lord is alive. Everything else around him is dead, but here comes another Invocation from the Heck. These Rotting Prometheans aren't out of it yet. Teclis went into combat, took some damage from Noctilus. Archers are continuing to whittle down the Rotting Prometheans. Now we have Lothar and Seaguard diving into combat, Archers diving into combat with Bombers. The Dragon Prince is continuing to pull in and out. They're nearly full health. These guys have absolutely been clutch this entire battle. MVPs as far as I'm concerned, but I guess Teclis might deserve that title, considering he's the one who has been setting up the opportunities for the Fireborn with nice nets and also good heals. Alright, the Bombers trying their best, throwing bombs at point blank, but they are getting poked down by the High Elf forces. Here comes a Bound Fiery Convocation. And will that go right through these guys? It kind of looks like it may. Oh, he's going to dodge it. Nicely done to our Vampire Coast player, but even with that nice dodge, I just don't see them pulling it back from here. The Fireborn are kind of a glass cannon, in my opinion. As long as you use them well and you keep them healthy, they can do so much work for you. But yeah, in this matchup in particular, a couple of other ones, they seem to be the main focus of your enemy army in terms of what they're prioritizing. All right, we have a zombie summon going down here. Got some high elf forces routing at the moment. It looks like Count Noctilus has an enfeebling foe on top of him, though. There goes the last Raid Storm into to Teclis. Gonna do some damage, but Teclis still will be able to heal himself up either with Regrowth or Potion of Shikroi, I imagine. And I don't think all the summons in the world are going to save Noctilus now. Noctilus chasing after Teclis, but Teclis, he's got the speed on his side. I think that's all she wrote, guys. Yeah, the artillery has to get in here. Otherwise, the High Elves have no chance. Eagle Call Bolt or a crew to lead them to victory. There's another summon. Zombies ain't stopping. Fireborn is going to be cycle charging non-stop and gloriously. And it looks just absolutely glorious seeing them cycle in and out. And Noctilus down to about half health. He's been using a lot of magic this game, so we'll see if he can keep it together or not. But yeah, I don't know. Alacrity. You know, I got to give the players benefit of the doubt. If he thinks he can win this, we'll let him try and prove it. We've seen it before, but in this scenario, I really see it as doubtful that he pulls this off. No more Raid Storms to punish the big blob here. Surrounded on all sides. Really, the only way I see them doing this is if Count Noctilus gets a really lucky hit and kills Teclis, but Teclis would have to make the mistake to allow him to do that. And look at that. There goes Crumbling. He's debilitated, and Enfeebling Foe is on top of him. And I think the High Elves have just sealed the fate of Noctilus and his pirate army. Yeah, Skillbang, the final bit there was definitely not the most entertaining. I really enjoyed the first stages of that battle with the Dragon Princes pushing the flanks, crushing the units on the side, but as it progressed, it became pretty clear that, you know, at some point in that battle, the High Elves were just winning, and the Vampire Coast was just kind of like surviving as much as they could. Because Count Noctilus, he's a tank, but if he's by himself, you know, he's going to get surrounded, his leadership will fail, and he'll just crumble out of existence. But nonetheless, a great game to Reginald Puggington. Don't want to take away from that game. He played it very well. I like this army a lot. And, you know, it worked out for him. Nevermaker's army. Trying to think. Rotting Prometheans, I like the mass, and they were definitely useful there, but I don't know. Guess I need to study Vampire Coast more to understand what maybe should have been different, but I think overall this army had the tools you would need to win. Mortars to counter the infantry, deck gunners to counter Cav and other ranged units since they outrange them, handguns for the armor-piercing, bombs for the infantry, chaff to clog the gaps, the mass of the Prometheans to protect the back lines and stop Cav cycle charging, deck gunners to harass, and Noculus tank. So, great first battle. Let's see what happens in round 2. Okay, let's go ahead, update the intro, or throw up the intro card and get to this battle, shall we? So, round 2 between Nevermaker and Reginald Puggington. They're going to be bringing the Lizardmen and the Vampire Counts, respectively, for round 2. And it is currently match point for Reginald Puggington. We'll see if he wins at 2-0 here, or if Nevermaker brings it back to a tiebreak. Now, let's go ahead and cover the Red Army first, see what the Vampire Counts have for us, right? We're going to see some zombies. Looks like 1, 2, and 3. Going to have skeleton warriors. Looks like 4 of them, or 3 of them, and then we're going to have the Stearnsman Graveguard ROR. We got 2 dire wolves. One of them will be the dire pack with that bonus versus large. Got 2 cryptors. And then we're also going to have some Vargulfs. It looks like 2 Vargulfs as well. We're going to have a Mortis engine, but not just any Mortis engine. This one will be the Claw of Nagash. Ponosaurus Rex, thank you so much for the follow, Ponosaurus Rex. That is very kind of you. Up in the air, we'll have a single unit of Felbats. Just maybe chase down Pterodons, and it looks like there's a couple of Pterodons for them to come to grips with. And then last but never least, we have the leadership. We're going to have a Banshee down here on the ground, going to be bringing Slippery, and that is it. And then we're going to be looking at Heinrich Kemmler on top of his steed. He's going to have the Krell summon. He's going to be able to raise some zombies here. And then he's going to have Van Hell's Dance Macabre, Invocation of Nehek, and the Chaos Tomb Blade. Now, I do believe that rounds out the Vampire count, so let's take a look at the Lizardmen, and this army is going to be similar to the last one we saw with some variations. We're going to have Pahak Sentinels and Pterodon Riders in the air, which is going to be the main difference here. And then we're also going to be seeing a similar infantry build in the form of 2 Temple Guards up front, the Star Chamber Guardians in the center, 2 Saurus Spears protecting that back line. We're going to have a Skink Chief just here to pester the enemy with blow darts and support his comrades in battle with the war drum of Shahutek. I'm probably butchering that, my apologies. Then we have a Bastillodon with a Reviv Crystal and Lord Mazda Mundi on top of his Ancient Stegodon Slack. He's going to have Banishment, Shield of the Old Ones, Apotheosis, Net of a Mintok, Cold-Blooded, and the Sunburst Standard of Hexwaddle with Arcane Conduit. And that does round out the armies, and let's see how it goes. Oopsie daisy. So, here it goes. Pterodon Riders looking for some things to fire down, and oh my, look at me, I forgot a unit. A Bastillodon with a Solar Engine. Boom. First round going off and hitting the Banshee. Great prioritization here. If you can eliminate that Banshee early, you've just gotten yourself some mean value. Solar Engine taking that shot at Heinrich Kemmler. Also, possibly not a bad target. I do think Kemmler's pretty sneaky in terms of how tanky he can be, so maybe just focusing on the Banshee would be better, but we will see. Heinrich Kemmler taking some good damage there. Over here, we've got the Dire Pack Wolves. Got a Vargulf coming in. Looks like the Solar Engine is going to turn around and back to the safety of its blob. And the Lizardmen going to continue to try to win this fight with the big old elite blob engagement. So as you guys can see, 395 versus 1100. Vampire counts do outnumber the Lizardmen something serious. That's a good question. There are technically no vampires in this army, so are they vampire counts? I guess this is like the Necromancer army. Solar Engine gonna do a big swing and a miss there against the Claw of Nagash. And the Vampire Counts, as you can see, just taking a high level here. They're just taking their sweet time, surrounding the entire box formation, and then we'll see him attack all at once, I imagine, when the time is right. There goes Banishment. Oh no, the undead player didn't notice it! Oh no, that hurts. Walking into a Banishment, not recognizing it's there, and look at that. The Sternsman Graveguard losing half their health in a very quick manner. These zombies losing a lot of health too, so nice banishment from Mazda Moody right there. Vargolf going into the back lines. Not sure where he's going. But it looks like he may be going after the Solar Engine by the looks of it. There he goes. Super Lube, thank you for the follow. And oh, here comes Krell. Krell is on the battlefield, everybody, and Krell is a monster in combat. Vargolf's coming in from both sides, and now they're on top of the Solar Engine and the Reviv Crystal. We got some Skeleton Warrior summons pinning the Star Chamber Guardians in place so they can't get into this combat just yet. Claw of Nagash taking some serious damage, but now it is in combat and going to be sapping the health from these Temple Guard. Vargolfs are both very, very healthy, doing okay. We got Krell in here, we got the Banshee coming in now, and it looks like everybody's going after this Solar Engine perhaps. So right now, Lizardmen forces holding strong, not seeing too much damage on their infantry just yet, but time will tell. It's going to be one of those big old blob monster mashes. Pterodon Riders continuing to focus on top of the Crypt Cores. These guys have no armor to speak of, so the Javelins from these Pterodon Riders will be doing some good work. And then once they finish up shooting that ammunition, I wouldn't be surprised to see them fly over here, maybe in this zone, maybe somewhere closer to the front line, and just start dropping some bombs and destroying this undead infantry. Solar Engine losing a lot of HP, as you can see. Cold-Blooded is on top of it, but it's down to about a quarter health. The Vargolfs and the Direpack Wolves just not letting up. And Mazda Mundi is also starting to take some damage now. Reviv Crystal looking pretty weak. And it's just like so much undead just piled on top of these Lizardmen infantry, where they really aren't getting good combat engagements with the large units like they want to be. And the large units are just getting eliminated piece by piece. You have Krell over here with the Vargolfs, and I think that means our Solar Engine is going to be gone for good. And then as far as the Reviv Crystal is concerned, you know, you got a Banshee and Heinrich Himmler staying on top of it, and it is also losing a lot of HP. But oh, a big banishment going down on the undead forces, and look at that. It's just going to crumble out so much of the infantry for the undead forces. And it even looks like they're all going to peel back out because, oh no, Mazda Mundi is singled out, separated from his army. He's got Crypt Cores with their mass pinning him in place, Vargolfs hitting him, and Mazda Mundi is losing health at an alarming rate. He is down to 2,500 hit points and counting. And yeah, this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. As you can see across the board, it just looks like the Lizardmen are really taking too much damage. We have Saurus Spears here sitting idle. And while normally I like to have reserves, this is not the time to have a reserve unit of infantry. You need everything you've got in the fight right now. But at this point, I think the point is moot, because I really am not seeing an easy path back to victory for the Lizardmen at this point. Reviv Crystal, not feeling the best. Mazda Mundi going to have Cold-Blooded on top of himself to keep him from routing, but there goes the Reviv Crystal. The Solar Engine is already dead. Mazda Mundi's going to be by himself pretty soon here, and the Pterodon Riders are routing because I think they got into melee combat. And the Saurus Spears back here are still just chilling. The Skink Chief is watching his friends get murdered by this undead force, and that's going to be a GG as the last of the dinos falls. Yeah, pretty messy battle overall. But I think that's just like, I think we've seen this twice today now, you know, where the Lizardmen go for a blob tactic against the vampire counts. There's very few factions I recommend going blob against vampire counts with. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head where I think a blob build works good. It's just because with Mortis Engines, blobs are such a double-edged sword, you know? It's like you're staying close, you're not going to get flanked, yay, but the Mortis Engine is going to be sucking the life out of you nonstop unless you can kill it. And it's slippery. It's hard to kill. So, I don't know. I guess in these matchups, I would like to see a bit more mobility, a bit more firepower being on the field. But it seems like these Lizardmen armies kind of maybe relying a bit too much on the Temple Guard power and the Dino power, and not recognizing that really, as far as factions go, the king of blobs, in my opinion, you know, vampire counts is always up there with the king of blob factions. Yeah, VC are good to blob with against VC. I think dwarves can be okay with the blobs sometimes too, just because they also have some crazy stacks and high leadership. But yeah. Yes, where is Krell? He's in the blob, killing things with his axe. Yeah, Dowie. Thank you, Apache. I just read up and saw you said something similar. Yeah, Coast and Skaven, I guess, can blob up too, but even then, I just feel like... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a big fan of the blob playstyle in the first place. Nothing again. It's a viable strategy. It's just not my playstyle, and I feel like I don't execute blobs as well as some other players do, but it just feels like, yeah, in most matchups, besides maybe dwarfs, Coast... You just don't want a blob fight against the vampire counts. They have too much AoE damage, and they have just non-stop summons to keep your blob just like distracted and fighting a bunch of useless chaff. But Reginald Puggington going to win that series 2-0, and a great job to him. Nevermaker, better lucks next time.